Hey guys, it's Cobra, and this is a video that basically it just sort of expresses my first impressions and my thoughts about the Sega Dreamcast. Now, I just picked mine up yesterday. Actually, let me tell you a story real quick. I was browsing eBay the day before I got my Dreamcast, and I saw this one from a Goodwill store. Apparently, they have eBay accounts now, and they had a Dreamcast. Buy it now in the box for $50 with $10 shipping. Not gonna happen. Well, there was a make an offer button, and I thought, well, if it's a Goodwill, they probably don't know too much about the system, and I could probably get it for a cheaper price because it's not. I wouldn't pay 50 anyway. And also they said that it wasn't like it powered on and everything, but they didn't have any games to test, so it might have the disc read error. I don't know. So I made the offer of $20. Because that would have made a total of 30 bucks. So 30 bucks, I said I could get it for that on my at a local store. I could get it for 30 bucks. And they accepted the offer. Okay, so I went to bed that night assuming that they had just passed the offer on, like, oh, this kid's an idiot. I woke up this morning, I was like, oh man, alright, I'm gonna get up, go get my Dreamcast, come home, and play the hell out of it. I get an email on my phone that says, you have won this item. I was like, won this item? I wasn't bidding anything. It was the Dreamcast that I sent the offer in. I was like, they must be kidding. There's no way that they could have accepted that offer. So now I'm going to have two Dreamcasts. And I think, if assuming it works, I already have a buyer set up. So he's helped me out a few times before, actually. This would be cool. And he wants a Dreamcast too. So that aside, I do have one Dreamcast at the current time. It works perfectly, and here are my initial thoughts. The actual design of the system, great. You know, it looks great. Everything about it I like. The controllers, you know, whatever. But when I set it up, everything was fine, except the first controller I tried didn't work. Now, I talked to Kefka before, Kefka14. Check out his channel if you don't know who that is. Great channel. Anyways, but I talked to him before, and he said that sometimes there are controller port problems, I think is what he said. I don't know if he means on the end of the controller or on the console itself. But regardless, I did take that controller back, and I got a replacement one. And no problem since then. Now I have two. It came with two controllers. One didn't work, one did. So I also got a VMU. This really is one of the coolest things ever. It is such a. It's just such a neat idea to do this. Like a mini little TV in the controller. Wow, I like it a lot. When I play Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, yeah, it shows the Army Man's face on there. It's kind of cool. It's useless to a degree, but it's kind of cool. Apparently there's some mini games you can get on this too. I don't know. I don't know much about it. But here's a couple things that I notice about the system. It's kind of very loud. I don't know if it's mine or anybody else's, but when you hear the disc, like, you know, changing and it's whatever, it's loud. I haven't played a PlayStation in a long time, so I don't know how it. I remember it making noise, but I don't know if it was this loud. But you know, it's not a big deal as long as it gets to where it goes. And the load times, wow, I expected them to be a lot longer than they are. They're really not long at all. They're good, you know. So overall there, I'm happy. Now let's talk about the controller itself. A lot of people don't like this controller, and I can see why, to be honest with you, but I like it. I like this controller. The only thing I would add is another stick right here. So that way, first-person shooters, perfect. You know, the button layout, everything, the triggers, D-pad. Start button's a little out of the way sometimes, but, you know, I don't care. And some people don't like the fact that the cord comes out of the bottom. That doesn't even bother me, and if it does bother you, there's a clip right up there, so now it looks like it comes out of the top. Whatever. I don't know, that doesn't bother me. So, the controller, I also like. Let's talk about the games. This is the reason I bought the Dreamcast. I didn't buy it for the controller. Well, I do like Sega. That kind of has something to do with it, but I bought it for the games. Now, I have 3 games right now, and as soon as I get money, I actually made out a wish list. Not a wish list, but kind of like a wanted list today. There's a lot on there. So, this is going to be the main focus, I think, for a while. But the games I do have, they're all good. And we'll start with the first one. Everybody has to have this one, Crazy Taxi. Great arcade game. I was absolutely stunned that this game is not two-player. I thought, you know, how could they make this game not two-player? That'd be so much fun, going up against your friends so you can get the most money. I That's my only disappointment with this one. The next game is Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. This is the one I've actually been playing the most of. I like it. It's sort of challenging, and there's some things I don't like about it, but overall it's a good game. And last but certainly not least, Worms Armageddon. Now the Worms games are odd, to say the least. This sort of strategy games, good multiplayer one, and I really like it. I suck at it, but I do like it. So, those are the games I have. I also have the web browsing CD, and apparently, from what I've looked up, now don't quote me on this, but from what I understand, you can still browse the internet on this, but it's a pain in the ass, and it's laggy, and it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in 1999, 2000, 2001, it was fine, but now it's sort of, you know, whatever. I'm sure, you know, sure everybody knows that is like slow internet, not good. Whoops. And so those are my thoughts on the Dreamcast. I'm really excited to get the more games. People just recommend me some good games. And I have another question. When you're playing first-person shooters, let me take Halo for example, or Call of Duty, any first-person shooter nowadays. You have the dual joysticks. There's one here and there's one down here. You use this one to physically move, and you use this one to look around direction. I'm just sort of wondering how that works on this controller, because I want to get Quake, and I don't know how it's going to work. So just let me know if the controls are fine, because I don't really know per se, but that's my only concerns about the games, but I haven't seen anybody gripe about it, so it must not be bad or anything. Let me see, some of the games I'm really looking forward to getting. I like how there's some, like, remade arcade games on this. Like, I want to get that Miss Pac-Man game. Frogger 2 looks pretty good. I've actually played that one on the PC. I like it. I don't think I want to get the Centipede one. Ooh, something I'm really looking forward to is, and I have another question, House of the Dead 2. I love those games in the arcade and stuff, but I have an LCD TV, and apparently the gun that you use is a light gun, so does that mean it's not going to work on an LCD TV? Because if that's the case, it's really going to be a bummer, because I don't want to have to play it in here on this TV. It's just uncomfortable, and it's a pain. So just let me know, and also, if there's any sort of, like, place to get those guns cheap, because on eBay, wow, they cost an arm and a leg. They're like 30 or 40 bucks. That's ridiculous. I also want to get that Typing of the Dead game. It's like, what a brilliant idea that is. Damn it, Sega, you know, what the hell. Improve my typing and kill zombies. Yes, of course I'll do that. So those are my initial thoughts so far. I'm extremely happy with the Dreamcast, and I actually also told Kefka this, you know, I didn't anticipate getting a console this much, besides the Wii. I was so pumped to get a Wii, and so, like, awesome and excited and everything. This was right up there. I was really excited, and so far, it's definitely paid off. I want to get a couple extension cords. Controllers are kind of short-corded. And once I get some good games out, I'll be good, guys. So before I end this video I forgot one sort of, I guess it's a complaint, but as good of the games, as good as the games that are on the Dreamcast are, there was so much more room for improvement. Here's what I mean. With this thing here, it opened the door kind of for a lot more for them to do. Here's a couple games that I really wish were on the Dreamcast. I really, really wish they would have ported Doom. Maybe a version with updated graphics. Kind of like Doom 64. They could have even made their own version of Doom. And for anybody who's played Doom, you know how when you walk around and the more abuse you take, the guy's face that you see sort of starts to look more abused and blood and stuff? That would have been awesome to put that face on here. Sure, it would have been, you know, pixelated, like black and then black dots and all that, but that would have been such a cool feature. And that would have sold me pretty good. Plus, Doom's like my favorite game of all time, almost. And one more thing that, another game that I wish they would have put on here is Duke Nukem. Now, whether it's Duke Nukem 3D or they make a new one that's at least first person, and I don't like those other ones, but the first person one, that would have been cool too. Same idea with, actually I don't think Duke Nukem has a picture of his face down there, it doesn't, But they could have put something here, like maybe the Duke Nukem radiation symbol, something like that. I don't know, I just feel like there were some games that they could have put on the Dreamcast that aren't. Let me try and think of some other ones. Now that I'm on the spot, this is probably going to be hard. Monkey Ball? Was Monkey Ball out yet when the Dreamcast came out? I don't know, but I like Monkey Ball. And as far as I know, it's not on there, but that would have been cool to be on there. But I don't know, whatever. I just forgot to include that, and so I thought I'd throw that in the video. Just some games that I wish were on there, and I don't know if you can get them off like torrent sites, because I know you can download Dreamcast games. And I'm not big into it, but if there is a game that I'm curious about, and I don't really want to, buy it and not like it, I might try a torrent, try and get the game, but I don't really know. I'm still a little iffy on it, but I think there are some, like, I don't know for sure, but I've looked it up, and I think there might be, like, Doom mods and stuff you can get and burn them on a disc and play them on your Dreamcast. I really don't know. So let me know if you can do that, because if that's the case, I'd love to play Doom on my Dreamcast. They just make it all the cooler. Alright, guys, so this has been Cobra, and thanks for watching. At a local store, I could get it for 30 bucks, and they accepted the offer. Okay, so I went to bed that night, assuming that they had just passed the offer on, like, oh, this kid's an idiot. I woke up this morning, I was like, oh, man, alright, I'm gonna get up, go get my Dreamcast, come home, play. It wasn't like, it powered on and everything, but they didn't have any games to test, so it might have the disc read error, I don't know. So I made the offer of $20, because that would have made a total of 30 bucks. So 30 bucks, I said I could get it for that. Let me tell you a story real quick. I was browsing eBay the day before I got my Dreamcast, and I saw this one from a Goodwill store. Apparently they have eBay accounts now. And they had a Dreamcast, buy it now, in the box for $50. Hey guys, it's Cobra, and this is a video that basically it just sort of expresses my first impressions and my thoughts about the Sega Dreamcast. Now, I just picked mine up yesterday. Actually, $50 with $10 shipping. Not gonna happen. Well, there was a make an offer button, and I thought, well, if it's a Goodwill, they probably don't know too much about the system, and I could probably get it for a cheaper price, because it's not, I wouldn't pay $50 anyway. And also they said that,